Chicago Robinson started his senior season of college last episode, and for this final year in college, he is on a new team. Oregon has started out 4-0 and is currently ranked number 5, with Robinson once again being this year's Heisman Trophy favorite. The remaining schedule for Oregon is pretty easy except for their next matchup, taking on number 3 USC at home. If Robinson and the Ducks can pick up this win tonight, it should be smooth sailing for them to the playoffs. Chicago Robinson and the Ducks offense would get the ball to start the game first today, and already with just 3 plays, Robinson had his team on the other side of the field looking to get in the red zone soon. Inside of the 15-yard line now, Robinson looking for his first passing touchdown of the day, and he would get it there, but USC would come down the field and they would respond with a touchdown on their opening drive as well. Robinson really showing off his ability on his feet this drive as he would step up in the pocket and take it up the left sideline, picking up a few blocks in a big run. And now at the start of the second quarter, had a chance to put his team up 14-7. The Oregon Ducks defense would get a stop, but now Robinson and the offense faced with a third down. Despite having to punt the ball away, they would get another opportunity here to score before halftime as there was just under a minute and a half to go nearing the red zone. And then on 2nd and 10 from the 16, Robinson would take a shot to the end zone. The Ducks defense would force a turnover as we took over on offense inside USC territory now. And don't ask me what that was. I have no idea what Chicago Robinson was trying to do, but he's trying to throw a touchdown here. And now he was looking for another one, but this time it was going to be on the ground as he would juke out a defender, taking this into the end zone. And we would pick up the big time win needed against USC here at home, 42-21, with Robinson having one of his best games of the season yet for the Ducks. With Oregon being off to a 5-game winning streak to start the season, you know we had to credit our team for this success. But everyone really knows it's truly Chicago Robinson's play. We're probably going to get used to this, but Robinson was named Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week, and it was time to see if he could back up that play in what should be a much easier matchup on the road against Iowa. Our defense would get a stop on Iowa's first possession, so it was time to come out and see what Robinson could do as he would take a deep shot on his very first pass of the game. And it was going to be a 73-yard touchdown to put Oregon up first. Inside the 30 now, Robinson was looking to get his team in the end zone before the second quarter, and maybe that touchdown comes here on 3rd and 5 as Robinson steps up and is going to take it in himself. But Iowa is going to respond with a touchdown of their own, so it is only a 1-possession lead here for the Oregon Ducks, but that's looking to change. A fantastic pass completion there from Robinson, and the crowd seems to be getting into this game as Robinson is having a hard time making his pre-snap reads, but it doesn't seem to bother him this time. As headed into the second half now, the Oregon Ducks are up 21-7. That would be the first time the Ducks had to punt all day here, and it might happen again, but Robinson would find his receiver open for the first down, keeping this drive alive as Robinson is closing in on that 200-yard mark on the day. That pass completion would do it for him as now he was going to take a shot inside the 10-yard line, where on 1st and goal, he would keep it himself on the read option for an easy 6. I would like to see Robinson try to get one more passing touchdown on his stat line today as we still have enough time left in the game to do so. But 3 plays later, Robinson wouldn't be getting that touchdown pass as the pressure would get to him. But our defense would get a turnover for us, so why not take one last attempt here? We still have all 3 timeouts remaining, and best believe I will be using them if needed as we're down inside the 5, where Robinson is going to get that last passing touchdown of the day. The Ducks walk away with a big victory 35-7 here against the Hawkeyes, and they're showing some love to Robinson who balled out. Despite the big day through the air, Robinson did have one of his worst completion percentages of his career at 53% today, but that didn't seem to matter as he was still the front runner for the 2029 Heisman Trophy. Officially halfway through his senior season, Robinson was sitting at a nice 69% completion percentage for 2,000 yards, 27 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, as well as an additional 487 yards on the ground and 9 rushing touchdowns as well. His team had also risen the ranks to number 2 in the country as well, and so it was time to see if Chicago Robinson and the Oregon Ducks could keep up this level of play through the second half of their season. The crowd is going crazy here in Washington as we can't even see our pre-snap reads here, but that doesn't seem to matter. But to make things a little easier on Robinson to get adjusted to the crowd, we were going to stick to the run game, and it would pay off as we'd get 6. It only took us 3 plays to score on our very first offensive possession, but Robinson is going down for a big time sack on that play, and he's looking to gain the yards back as he has the first down and more with a wicked spin move into the end zone. And that would be Robinson's first touchdown of the day, but now he's looking to get one through the air and does just that. Just over a minute and a half now to go in the first half, and Robinson looking to put his team up 28-0. But somehow Washington would get down the field no problem, and they would score their first touchdown of the day. With only 11 seconds left, Robinson was looking to get his team at least in field goal range for some more points. And I actually can't believe that he overthrew his receiver on that play as we head to the second half. Coach Dan Lanning wants to take a shot to the end zone deep here, so Robinson is going to do just that as he has a receiver wide open. And it looks like they are going to review this play up in the booth. And they are going to overturn that incomplete call, so that is another passing touchdown for Robinson on the night. Robinson just shy of 100 yards rushing on the night as he's going to roll out of the pocket and take this one himself, eclipsing 100 yards. And now it's time to see if he can get over 200 yards passing on the night as he's going to pick up another touchdown on this play. Coach would take Robinson out for the rest of the fourth quarter as we would get the win in blowout fashion. And with that victory, Chicago Robinson has set the national career passing touchdown record. That's one college football record down and plenty more to set this season. Following that win over Washington, Oregon was now ranked number 1 in the country. Robinson has never been on a team ranked number 1, so we will see how he manages this pressure as they were taking on Minnesota at home today. On paper, this should be an easy game for the Ducks as Minnesota is currently sitting at 3-5, and it was already looking pretty good for the Ducks as they would go up 14-0 early on in the first. Jumping to the second quarter now, the Ducks were back in the red zone as Robinson flushed out of the pocket looking to keep this play alive, and he will turn it into a touchdown. And there was just no stopping him on the ground or through the air for this Minnesota defense as he's getting his team back down the field. These NFL scouts have to be licking their chops as we're getting closer and closer to the NFL draft, because there is no way that Chicago Robinson doesn't become the top quarterback taken in this draft and is destined to be a star in the league, especially if he can win back-to-back national championships with 2 different schools in his career. This was definitely a game Minnesota wanted to forget as quick as possible. And with that historic performance, not only did we set the single game passing yards record for Oregon, but we also set our school's single game passing touchdown record. I think it's safe to say we can already go ahead and wrap up the Heisman race at this point in the season. It was time for another bottom dweller matchup for Robinson and the Ducks as they were on the road taking on Rutgers. Surprisingly, they had Oregon to a 4th down, but we would go for it and convert no problem, and would cap off this opening drive with a touchdown to go up 7-0 over Rutgers. Back in the red zone to start the second quarter as Robinson would roll out to his right, his tight end wide open in the end zone. And I'll be completely honest, with just over a minute to go, I was not expecting it to still only be 14-0. There was a good chance the score stayed that way as we might come up empty-handed on this possession, but thankfully we would convert that 3rd and 10, and then Robinson would take a shot to the end zone, but it's gonna be intercepted by Rutgers. Thankfully, there would be passing interference called on the play, and that would move Oregon's offense up to the 11-yard line where Robinson would step up in the pocket and take off for a touchdown, making it a 21-0 ball game here as we head into the second half against Rutgers. Robinson looking to extend that lead as we're getting down near the red zone, and that's a bad play. It would be a loss of 14 as they get it back to a 3rd and 12, and that's going to turn into a touchdown. Rutgers would finally score their first points of the day here in the fourth quarter, but it was looking like it would be too little too late, as Robinson would help put this game away for good on 2nd and goal, as he would take it in for another rushing touchdown. And the Ducks would walk away with a 42-7 victory here on the road. Another fantastic performance for Robinson. And there were only 3 games left now in the season for Oregon, but one major one to close out the year at number 18 Penn State. The Nittany Lions were currently 3rd in the Big Ten Conference standings, but obviously Oregon was the top dog as we were still ranked number 1 in the country. But for now, we had to focus on our next matchup at home, taking on the Wisconsin Badgers. Wisconsin could be a sneaky test for us here at home, so we can't get complacent as we need to blow them out. And so far, this first drive was looking promising as Robinson would keep it on the read option, pick up a block, and take it into the end zone. That would put us up 7-0 over Wisconsin, but faced our first 3rd down of the day. And thankfully, we're able to convert, but now we were faced with an even longer one on 3rd and 7 as Robinson would pick it up on his feet. Just inside the red zone now, and Robinson was thinking end zone as his receiver would beat the defense. And that would put Oregon up 14-0 over the Badgers. New set of downs now on this drive, setting up a halfback screen, and he is not going to be touched, taking this in for 6. We were headed into the second half, and Oregon only had a 21-point lead. And after nothing happening in the 3rd quarter, it was still 21-0 here in the 4th, and we were hoping to change that on this possession. Faced with a long 3rd and 14, we had the possibility of being forced to punt yet again in the second half today. But that would not happen as Oregon would pick up the 1st down and then a touchdown on this RPO. And although it was one of our closer games so far, we would walk away with a victory. We only had 1 game left in the regular season before our big game against Penn State, and already this game was not off to a great start against Indiana in the 1st quarter today. Chicago Robinson could not let that rattle him though, as his team was down 10-0, and he would get them right back into this ball game as he would find the end zone on 1st and 10. The offense has been struggling as there is only 23 seconds left to go in this first half, down 13-7, but Robinson is hoping he can at least get his team down into field goal range. Getting out of bounds there stops the clock with 13 seconds as he's going to take a shot across the middle down into the end zone, and that would give Oregon their first lead of the day against the Hoosiers, but now they needed to try to extend that, and Robinson was going to do just that on his feet, taking the 75 yards, putting the Ducks up by 8. Now from their very own 1-yard line, Robinson slips one defender, and he looks like he's going to do it again, taking it to the 30, to the 20, to the 10, and to the end zone. Up 28-14 now in the 4th quarter, but this lead still wasn't safe from the Hoosiers. So another touchdown on this drive definitely would help us put this game away, as this halfback screen is going to pick up a fresh set of downs. And then on 1st and 10 from the 23, Robinson would roll out to the right, and he would take a shot to the back corner of the end zone. And despite Indiana scoring another touchdown, that would put this game out of reach for them. And all we had to do was win one more game this season. This was probably the fewest yards Robinson has thrown for in a game this season, but I think the 173 yards rushing as well definitely helped him stay atop of the Heisman watch list. It was finally time though for his last game of the regular season, and it was going to be a ranked matchup going up against number 15 Penn State on the road. We were playing in the number 2nd ranked toughest stadium in the entire country this game, and I tried making this game a whiteout game and having them wear white jerseys, but that didn't seem to happen. Robinson has put together a respectable drive here for Oregon as he was rolling out to the right, throwing on the run. That's going to be completed. And now in the 2nd quarter, had a chance to try and take the lead back from Penn State after they tied it up at 7 apiece. On 2nd and goal, Robinson would keep it on the read option and would fight his way into the end zone. And right before halftime, had a chance to try and extend this lead over Penn State. Our defense would come away with a takeaway to start the second half as Robinson would roll out to the right and take it in on the ground. And this game was looking like it might be over for Penn State as they were down 28-7, and Robinson was going to extend that lead with another rushing touchdown. That wasn't all though, as with only 3 seconds, Robinson would find the end zone through the air one more time, overtime. And we would pick up the huge 41-7 victory over Penn State. With that win, Robinson would set the Oregon single-season rushing touchdown record and help clinch his team a spot in the Discover Big Ten Championship, where they would be taking on number 4 Ohio State. Let's see if Chicago Robinson and the Oregon Ducks can get it done. By rank, this is our toughest game of the season, as Robinson's going to get off to a good start with running this one. Now with a fresh set of downs inside the red zone, going to the right, that's going to be completed for a first down and more. Getting down to the 2-yard line where Robinson finds the end zone on the RPO. A whole lot of nothing going on for the Oregon offense, as Ohio State would take a 10-7 lead here in the second quarter. And now Robinson looking to get his team down the field and take the lead right back from them. That would mean needing to pick up this 3rd and 13 though, as this pass is going to be well short of the first down marker, and Oregon wouldn't even be able to get a field goal out of that situation, as they were now down by 10. Hopefully things could turn around for Robinson in the offense here in the second half, as he takes a hit standing in the pocket, but that pass would be completed and it would pay off, as Robinson would roll out to the right and find his receiver in the end zone. And just like that, Oregon is back in this game, as they are only down by 3 with a minute and a half to go here in the third quarter. Faced with another 3rd and goal from the 3-0, Robinson can't get this off in time, and after tying it up at 17, Ohio State would score another field goal of their own to take a 3-point lead. Under 2 minutes to go now, Robinson on play action, flushed out of the pocket, rolling to his right, throws a dart to the right sideline, and that's going to be completed, as now Robinson looking to the end zone, and he has his receiver, and that touchdown would be the game-clinching one for Oregon, as Robinson helps lead his new team to becoming Big Ten champions this season. Our star senior quarterback would win plenty of other awards as well, including the Maxwell Award, the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award, the Davey O'Brien Award, and for the 2nd season in a row, Chicago Robinson wins the Heisman Trophy. To cap all of that off, his team earns the number 1 seed in the college football playoffs, and the winner of their quarterfinal matchup will be taking on the winner of the Ohio State TCU game. This was our first time taking on an SEC opponent this season, so we'll see how our offense stacks up against their defense. And so far, Robinson and the offense were having no problems getting down the field and into the end zone. Our defense would get a stop on Ole Miss's opening drive, but Robinson's pass is going to be tipped, and that's going to be intercepted by a defensive lineman, taken back for a pick 6. Not the way we wanted to see Ole Miss score their first touchdown of the day, but it was time to bounce back, as Robinson had got his offense down to the 10-yard line and into the end zone on this wide receiver sweep. Ole Miss was keeping up with Oregon though, tying it back up at 14 apiece, as Robinson makes an incredible throw off balance out of the pocket on the run, getting all the way down to the 3-yard line, where on 2nd and goal, he would roll out to the right and find a wide open wide receiver. But once again, anything Oregon had on offense, Ole Miss seemed to match it, and now they were coming away with their 2nd interception. Thankfully, the defense would get a stop this time, and it was still tied at 21 apiece nearing the end of the 3rd. As with just over a minute to go, down inside the red zone, Robinson would roll out, not seeing anything he likes, and he would take off on his own, setting up a 3rd and goal from the 4, but this pass would be incomplete, as at the start of the 4th quarter, Oregon had a 3-point lead and make it a 10-point lead with this touchdown. And one more field goal would seal the deal for the Oregon Ducks, as they would win this quarterfinal playoff matchup against Ole Miss, with Chicago Robinson setting the Big Ten single-season passing touchdown record and getting his team to the Rose Bowl semifinal against TCU, with a chance to clinch themselves a spot in the national championship. The Horned Frogs were a familiar face for Robinson throughout his collegiate career so far, as this would be his 4th time and his 4 seasons as a college quarterback playing against TCU. They were a regular conference opponent in his time as starting quarterback for Texas Tech, and now they are the only team standing in his way of taking Oregon to a national championship. He was 2-1 as a starter against the Horned Frogs in his time at Texas Tech, only losing to them his first year. So hopefully that's a good sign for this Oregon offense, as they were up 14-0 here in the second quarter and looking to extend that with a huge play here from Robinson. That would set up a 1st and goal, but after a sack, we're backed up to 2nd and goal as this play would get them down inside the 5 and into the end zone. And it was now a 21-0 lead for Oregon, and that was going to extend even more. This game wasn't over though, as TCU got right back in it, only down 14-28 in the 3rd quarter. But if they wanted any chance at coming back, they were going to need to get a defensive stop on this drive, and they would do just that with an interception. It was down to only a 10-point game now at the start of the 4th quarter, but this was a big enough lead where a touchdown on this possession could seal the game for Oregon, as Robinson would make an incredible throw on the run, getting down to the 5-yard line with a 3rd and goal, as he would be flushed out of the pocket and he would try to take this himself. But Robinson would be short and the offense would stay on the field on 4th and 2 as he's going to take it in for a touchdown. And that would seal the deal for Oregon here in the Rose Bowl as they get a 38-28 victory over TCU. And Robinson would set the Oregon single-season passing yards record as well, with his team clinching a spot in the national championship going up against Virginia Tech. It is time to see if Robinson can close out his final game as a college quarterback, winning the national championship for the 2nd season in a row. Robinson had a chance to win 2 national championships in a row with 2 different teams, but this game wasn't off to a great start for the Oregon offense as they were faced with a 3rd and 12 and Robinson couldn't pick up the first. They would get another opportunity on their next drive after their defense picked up a stop, and after converting that 3rd and 8, Robinson would give the ball to the Virginia Tech defense with his first interception of the night. Thankfully, the defense was playing well and it was still tied at 0 apiece headed to the 2nd quarter as Robinson would make a throw off balance, and that would be his 2nd INT of the game. Virginia Tech would finally take advantage and would take a 7-0 lead over Oregon, and this offense hadn't been able to get anything going as it was almost the end of the 1st half. 16 seconds left, Robinson was looking to at least get a field goal out of this possession, but he had touchdown on his mind instead as they would get 6. Moving to the 2nd half, the Ducks were looking for their first lead of the game as Robinson would escape the pocket, stepping up and pulling off a big-time run. But once again, this offense was faced with a 3rd and long as Robinson would check down and they wouldn't pick up the first. In the 4th quarter though, the Oregon defense started to come up clutch with some takeaways against Virginia Tech, giving us an opportunity to go up 10 with that touchdown and coming away with another turnover. And even though Oregon couldn't convert there, they would score 3 points, and now we're deep in the red zone again. And it was just too much for Virginia Tech to make a comeback from, as Chicago Robinson and the Oregon Ducks would hold on to their 10-point lead, and he would close out his college career as a national champion once again. In that game, Robinson would set the national single-season passing touchdown record, as well as winning his 2nd straight national championship as a starting quarterback. Robinson would cap off his college career with the 2028 Heisman Trophy at Texas Tech, following it up that same year with the national championship with the Red Raiders, and went and proved the doubters wrong, winning the Heisman Trophy yet again the next year at Oregon, as well as a 2nd straight national championship with a different team. Robinson definitely had a college career for the ages and will go down as one of the best to ever do it, but now it's time to see if he can continue this level of success at the next level as Chicago Robinson gets ready to declare for the NFL Draft.